They told me not to listen to it. Erase the file, they said. It was never supposed to be found. But I did listen, and now I can't stop hearing it. The tape you're about to hear is real, or at least it was real to the people who recorded it. It came from Kolyma 17, a Soviet research station buried in the Arctic Circle. The year was 1983. The Cold War was in full freeze, and deep beneath the permafrost, the Soviet scientists found something ancient, something that should have stayed buried. They called it Subject Zero, but it wasn't human. Not really. It started simple enough: an excavation mission. Sergei, the lead scientist, made the first log entry on December 2nd. The temperatures had dropped to -40, but morale was high. They had unearthed something incredible, a creature encased in ice nearly 200 meters below the surface. Sergei described it as humanoid, but off. Elongated limbs, dual mandibles hidden behind a false jaw, and eyes that didn't reflect light the way they should. By December 9th, the specimen's ice casing had partially melted. Tatiana, the team biologist, recorded that its facial structure suggested predatory traits not known in any other species. That night, something screamed from inside the station. The logs say Tatiana thought it was a polar fox, but she admitted on tape that it came from within, inside the station. The power began to fail. Lights flickered. The aurora above the station stopped moving, froze in place like an eye staring down. They found Pyotr the next morning, frozen stiff in the generator room, his mouth locked open. Blood turned to icy crystals all around it. It looked like he died mid-scream. Something was happening to them. They started to dream. Yuri Volkov, the military observer stationed with them, reported bleeding from his nose after a dream in which he watched himself die. Exact details matched his eventual fate. The creature, still frozen in Chamber 6, hadn't moved. But it didn't need to. It was broadcasting, not with radios or electronics, with thoughts, images, fears. It didn't speak. It showed them. Tatiana began to hallucinate. She swore she heard her dead brother calling to her through the ventilation shaft. Then she started writing in a language no one could identify. Eventually, she bit off her own tongue and bled out, smiling. Oleg, the engineer, went next. The logs say he tried to shoot himself, but a gun jammed 3 times. He said the creature didn't like being watched. He gouged his eyes out the next day. Sergei, now alone, made the last recording. His voice was fragmented, breaking under static. "It hasn't moved," he said, "but we all know it's free, not physically, but in here." He tapped his skull. The final transmission was never meant to be heard, but someone picked it up. A broken, scrambled signal caught by a fishing vessel off the coast of Norway. It was Sergei screaming into the mic, "Do not come here. Do not send rescue. It thinks in fear. It kills with memory." Then silence, and then the whisper. "You heard it now. That means it knows your voice. It knows where you are. You let it in." When the Soviet Union collapsed in the 90s, Kolyma 17 was found buried in snow and silence. No bodies, no signs of struggle, just claw marks inside the walls of Chamber 6, as if something had tried to escape from within, or tried to keep something out. Etched in the ice, drawn in frozen blood, was a perfect map of the base. It wasn't made by human hands. They told me not to listen to the tape. I did anyway. Now I dream of it. I dream of the static, of voices speaking in that dead language, of snow that doesn't melt, and of something inside it, watching, You listened too, and now it remembers you. Sleep lightly. Don't dream in the cold.
They said it was just a biological research outpost. Remote, government-funded, monitoring melting ice sheets in Antarctica. The Helix Protocol, they called it. Harmless, scientific, but that wasn't the truth. I only found out because of a distress signal one never meant to be decoded. It began with an anomaly. A subterranean heat signature deep beneath Station Vostok 7, a Russian-funded lab established under the pretense of climate research. But the heat signature didn't match geothermal activity. It pulsed like a heartbeat. Within weeks, a multinational team was assembled. Americans, Russians, Japanese, even a German microbiologist flown in from Munich. On the surface, it was a joint effort to study microbial life trapped beneath the ice. But one of them leaked the truth. And that's how I found the logs. Day 1, arrival. Dr. Eliza Morrow's voice echoes through the tape. Calm. Precise. Coordinates locked. Surface drills are operational. We begin melting through the lower layers tomorrow. Nothing unusual yet. Day 3. Drilling complete. They broke through. Found a subglacial cave filled with mist, shimmering like oil. At the center, a cocoon. Not plant, not animal. Something in between. They called it Specimen H. Day 5, containment breach. The cocoon opened. According to the logs, the first symptom was euphoria. Subjects exposed to the mist laughed uncontrollably. Then came memory bleed team members reciting events they never lived through, talking about wars, cities, entire lifetimes from centuries ago. Dr. Kaito Nakamura began writing in an ancient Sumerian dialect. He had no prior knowledge of it. Then he started changing. His skin thinned. Veins began pulsing visibly. His eyes developed dual pupils. I see it now, he whispered on the recording. I see before time. They tried to quarantine him. He dissolved into fluid. Still warm. Still pulsing. They stored it in a cryo tank. It burst 2 hours later. Day 9. Hallucinations intensify. One by one, the team succumbed. Dr. Lena Vogel scratched symbols into her own bones, letters they couldn't translate. She claimed the mist was a genetic broadcast, a message meant for compatible hosts. The Helix Protocol wasn't about observation. It was activation. We were the petri dish, she said. The Earth, just a incubator. Day 12, radio silence. The final entry wasn't audio. It was video. Footage from the main hall. Darkness. Red emergency lights. Something moved past the camera. Fast. Bipedal. Translucent skin. Internal organs visible. It whispered in 10 voices at once. Return what was taken. Then static. When rescue arrived, the base was empty. Every biological sample had decomposed into the same warm, humming fluid. No bodies. No signs of struggle. But etched into the floor of the specimen chamber, beneath layers of ice, was a double helix made entirely of human teeth. And, it was still growing. They classified everything, buried the files. But something got out. I traced mutations in local wildlife around the region. Birds singing in chords. Fish growing eyes inside their stomachs. And recently, a Russian hiker found 300 kilometers from the site, missing for 6 days. He hadn't aged, and his blood hummed. The Helix Protocol wasn't just a project. It was a countdown. And it reached 0. If you're listening to this, check your skin. Look at your veins. Listen to the hum. Because the signal never stopped. It just found a new host. You.